Good evening. My name is Shubham Chamyal. Today I am discuss about the topic letter writing, which is the topic of business communication. So let's discuss the business communication letter writing guide. In business, we are not only judged by our appearance but also by your ability to communicate. यानी कि बिजनेस में हमें सिर्फ अपीयरेंस के लिए जज नहीं किया जाता, हमारी वहाँ पे एबिलिटी भी देखी जाती है कि कम्युनिकेट हम किस तरीके से करते हैं, वेदर इट इज़ इन पर्सन, ओवर द फोन और थ्रू रिटन लेटर्स। और वो किसी भी चीज़ से हो सकता है, जैसे कि हम लेटर लिखते हैं, किस तरीके से लेटर लिखते हैं, किस तरीके से फ़ोन पे बात करते हैं, किस तरीके से हम ईमेल्स में लिखते हैं एंड मेमोज। द वे इन विच वी एक्सप्रेस योर सेल्फ सेज ए लॉट, यानी कि किस तरीके से हम अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करते हैं वो कई सारी चीज़ें बयां करता है। ड्राफ्टिंग ए बिजनेस लेटर कैन बी पर्टिकुलरली डिफरेंट फॉर मैनी पीपल। बिजनेस लेटर को तैयार करने में डिफ़िकल्ट होता है बहुत मैनी पीपल्स के लिए। अपार्ट फ्रॉम द फॉर्मल टोन, द राइटर हैज़ टू पे स्पेशल अटेंशन टू हाउ दे format the letter and phrase the wording. It is definitely worth it to brush up on the basics of writing a business letter. To help you, we have put together this letter writing guide. It could come in handy when communicating with corporate associates or clients, applying for a job, requesting information, or even filing a complaint. बिजनेस लेटर स्ट्रक्चर एंड एलिमेंट्स। बिजनेस लेटर का जो एक तरीके से ढांचा होता है वो किस प्रकार होता है। एड्रेस ऑफ द सेंडर, इट इज़ यूजुअली कॉमन फॉर द सेंडर टू हैव देयर एड्रेस इन द लेटर हेड। अल्टरनेटिवली दे कैन ऐड दीज डिटेल्स एज द फर्स्ट आइटम ऑन द पेज। दिस सेक्शन शुड only include the physical mailing address without any other contact details. Date of writing, the date is usually inserted just below the sender address. For letters created over a period of time, they should bear the date when the letter was completed. Don't be sure to make the distinction between US and other international date formats and use them appropriate. The date is placed at the left or center. The recipient address, the recipient mailing address follows under the date on the left side of the page. Whenever possible, precede it with the name and title of the recipient. In some cases, if the person title is unclear, do a bit of research to verify it. This type of information can easily be found on corporate website or by phoning the company. यानी कि जो रिसिपिएंट यानी कि जिसको वो लेटर मिल रहा है, रिसिपिएंट है, उसका जो एड्रेस होना चाहिए अंडर द डेट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द पेज होना चाहिए। अंडर द डेट के नीचे और लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द पेज। ग्रीटिंग यानी कि किस तरीके से हम दूसरों को ग्रीट करते हैं। द सैल्यूटेशन एट द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द लेटर कैन वेरी डिपेंडिंग ऑन हाउ वेल द सेंडर नोज द रिसिपिएंट। In extremely formal cases, it is acceptable to simply list the recipient title and surname. When the two people are on a first name basis, the salutation can instead read Dear first name. If the person's gender is unknown, it is best to forego a title and simply list their full name. Body of the letter. The first paragraph should be concise and clear written. It is customary to include a brief amiable sentence followed by the reason behind the letter. The following paragraph should be used to elaborate on this reason. Include any necessary detail and information to ensure that the recipient fully understands. The last paragraph is the closing paragraph. It should be used to sum up the letter and request any specific actions that are needed. The closing. After the concluding paragraph, leave a blank line and then add a closing word such as thank you, sincerely, or best regard. This should always be followed by a comma and the sender's signature below it. It is usually better to personally sign the letter instead of using a digital copy of the signature. Below the signature should be the sender name typed out. This is especially useful since most signatures are difficult to read clearly. Enclosed document. If any supporting document have been attached, list them at the bottom of the letter. This section should be titled Enclosures. For digital letters, include the actual file name along with its extension. Example, John Smith resume PDF. Typist identification. If somebody else has typed the letter, they should indicate this by indicating their initials at the very bottom of the page. Senders who type the letter themselves do not need to include their own initials. Business letter formally guidelines. This format is the most common version in use. It uses left justified paragraph for the entire letter. All text in single spaced with double spacing inserted between each paragraph. Modified block format. The modified block format is another popular version for business letters. It follows the same formatting as the block format except for the date and the letter's closing. These two items are centered instead of being left aligned. Semi-block format. The semi-block format is heavily used instead of left aligned the paragraph. They are intended in the first line. There can also sometimes be other variations for formal business letter formats depending on company variations. If the organization has an official style guide, always refer to that first. Most word processing software programs come with helpful templates that can be used when creating business letters. Simple select the desired template and then plug the information within each section. Using the right fonts. Choosing the right font is crucial to ensure that the letter is legible. यानी कि हमें भी किसी भी लेटर में अपना फॉन्ट जो है एक क्रूशियल होना चाहिए हमारा. चूजिंग द राइट फॉन्ट इज क्रूशियल. कि हमें हमेशा फॉन्ट जो है लेटर का वो राइट होना चाहिए, क्रूशियल होना चाहिए. अवॉइड फैंसी फॉन्ट दैट लुक स्ट्रेंज टू द आइज. स्टैंडर्ड सेरिफ फॉन्ट लाइक टाइम्स न्यू रोमन एट साइज 12 इज द नॉर्म्स. Sans serif fonts like Arial can be little harder to read in block of text. They are better used for headers or single lines. In some cases, different fonts might be acceptable for aesthetic purpose or if it is the norm within the organization's dictionary. And the last, punctuation, grammar and spell checking. In general, a colon is placed following the salutation and a comma is inserted just after the letter closing phrase. The open punctuation method follows both of these. Always pay close attention to spelling, grammar and punctuation after writing the letter. Run a spell check within the word processor to catch any glaring mistake. It is also help to have another person read the letter and pointing out any remaining error. Here are additional resources you can use to improve your writing. Business letter templates, parts of a business letter, tone and wording for business letter tip sheet, a guide to writing business letter. So that's all about this. Thank you so much.